Fantastic. Wait, one more time. Guys, are you ready for your next speaker?
Yeah!
Fucking fantastic. The next one is a Queer Mountain regular. Please welcome the amazing, sweet Gwendolyn.
Yeah!
Keep it going.
Yeah!
There we go. Hey. All right, so as has been already touched upon, there are many different types of virginities that you can lose when it comes to sex, and I found that straight people tend to have a pretty narrow, very literal standard for virginity, which is penis and vagina sex. Obviously, that does not apply to a lot of queers, and I feel that queer people just in general have a more nuanced, more sophisticated definition of what counts as sex in general, and I think that definition is along the lines of two or more people utilizing a spectrum of activities to work towards making at least one of their bodies feel good in a sensual manner, usually but not always with the goal of resulting in orgasm. And obviously the spectrum of sexual activities can include many things, such as hand jobs, finger banging, frottage, mutual masturbation, rim jobs, oral sex, and anal sex. Now that said, specific sex acts aside, there are all sorts of situational virginities that you can lose, such as the first time you ever really enjoyed having sex, which is frequently a very different occasion than that first nerve-wracking, fumbling time you're engaging in sexual activity with someone. There's the first time you're with a man, first time you're with a woman, first time you're with a trans person, intersex person, non-binary person, agender person, a hermaphrodite. There's the first time that you get fucked or fuck someone else who's wearing a strap-on. There's your first time having sex during BDSM, first time in an orgy, first time in a threesome. And if you are transgender, and you transition your body, there's your first time having sex post-transition. And for all types of transgender people, there's the first time that you have sex with someone who recognizes your true gender identity, and it is revolutionary. All right, the pages are sticking. There we go. All right, so I'm going to tell three quick tales of three different types of virginities that I lost. And these were all within a few months of each other. Just like the very end of my senior year, going into the very of high school, going into my freshman year of college. And I realized all the way up until the moment that I wrote this piece, I had been considering the moment I lost my virginity by the straight standard of the first time I had penis and vagina sex, but by the broader queer definition of engaging in sexual activity that results in an orgasm. I actually lost my virginity about 2 months earlier. That was at the very end of the senior year. There was some sort of French class field trip to a French convention or whatever, and my best friend and I were in a motel room, and we went over to the room of these two stoner boys from our class were staying in, because there was apparently a shortage of adult supervision, and we wound up having a, I don't know if you'd say threesome or foursome, because it was me and my friend and one of the guys on one bed, and the other guy was on the other bed, and he just smoked weed and watched us and jerked off, and everyone was happy with the situation. I will say it was the most homophobic threesome I've ever been in, because my best friend wanted to make it really clear that she was not gay. So we had the guy in the middle, and we were on either side of him. And, it was really sweet. It was nice. We were just, kissing, touching, feeling each other's bodies, being touched. And ultimately, he got to the point where he was about to pop, and he gave himself a few quick tugs, and he came all over his chest. And, that was that. And I don't know, it was just a really nice, sweet, a bunch of 17-year-olds kind of exploring their sexuality. I actually really wanted to have sex, but it's just, oh God, it was such a slut-shaming, 1993 Alabama, and not to mention, my parents were just really anti-sex, and, having sex with a bunch of people in the room was a big secret for 4 people to keep. So I just decided my opportunity was going to come, and sure enough it did, because about 2 months after that, there was a guy, and he was actually 31, and I'd had my eyes on him for a while, and I had been pursuing him and flirting with him, and for obvious reasons, even though the age of consent was 17, he felt a lot more comfortable waiting until after my 18th birthday, which was right around the corner anyway, so I went along with that, and so July 5th of 1993, which I remember specifically because it was literally the day after my 18th birthday, which was July 4th, it wound up being the first time, and actually basically the only time I ever lied to my parents about where I was going. First time I had sex with a guy, first time I ever smoked pot, first time I ever drank alcohol illicitly, and the first time I ever had Indian food, which for the record, all of it was premeditated except for the Indian food, which was arguably the most enduring love affair of the evening. And, it wound up being a really positive experience, although one of the things that I did ultimately realized from it was that I'm really not that into straight guys. Queer guys are a totally different story, and there is a very big difference. But I mean, I had to figure that out sometime, and he was great. He was very considerate. He was awesome. He followed the campsite rule and left me in better shape than he found me in, and I consider it to be a very positive experience. And then the next experience was just, I think, 5 weeks after that. I got to college, and they had like this little orientation period where the freshmen are there before all the older students are there. And so it was literally the first party of the first weekend of college, and there were just a whole bunch of us that were like, fuck yeah, I've been waiting all this time to finally have sex or, experiment or explore. So there wound up being initially 6 and then ultimately 7 of us, and we were just like, I don't know where this is going, but I just want to, kiss, touch, experiment, explore. We went to a dorm room, and I don't know quite how you would rate it, like group sex or an orgy. I mean, it was like a little more, we're all 18, so it was a lot more toned down than like a bunch of sexually active adults going at it full tilt. But, we all took our clothes off. We were all messing around. It was the first time I ever made out with a woman or girl or whatever, fellow 18-year-old, and first time I ever sexually fooled around with another female, and there was a couple that had like penis vagina sex, but mainly I remember like all of us were, I think, a little bit queer, and we all wanted to like experiment with same-sex making out, and there was plenty of opposite sex making out, and I couldn't really tell you how many orgasms were had or anything, but mainly it was just a bunch of people coming together and taking off their clothes and experimenting with their bodies and other people's bodies in this very sweet way, and I think we were all the better for having had these experiences. So anyway, these 3 stories, all just months apart, demonstrate the different types of sexual experiences you can have with one or many people of different genders and orientations, and there are no shortage of new, interesting, and fun sexual experiences you can have, and I hope that you all get to spend the rest of your lives losing your virginities. Yeah!
One more time, please, for sweet Gwendolyn.
I love the idea of a scenario where, like,